this film had quite an effect on me. I never heard it before. Really, it looked silly. I thought the ghost thing was a gimmick, and I watched it and let it wash over me. And it was such a pleasure on so many different levels. First of all, it kind of talked about the enormity of time and the universe, and how the persistence of memory and personality is, it may be real or not, but it explored it really well. And it was all about, this guy took a premise. Okay, there are ghosts, and it's going to be a guy in a sheet. And once you understand that, he took it and ran it and developed it like a really good science fiction story. He kept working these ideas. What happens? What's going to trigger them to leave? Why are they going to stay at where they're at? What's their goal? And
what happens when the house gets torn down?
Exactly. It was beautifully done. And I was just like, and it tugged
my heart the right
ways. It was just so impressed by this film. And it's just great watching a filmmaker play with ideas like this. You know what I mean? That's the thing that impressed me the most.
I couldn't agree.
I'm like, I don't know. I have like limited stamina to get through a lot of things lately. Like I tend to go to bed sort of early, and that this is one of those movies I watched in one sitting. And I'll be honest, I don't do that often. Usually it takes me two at minimum. But like you, it's like, oh shit, this is really interesting, because yes, you take the central thing that the guy with what this thing does with those two holes in terms of expressive-ness. Is kind of remarkable. Like, man, they're really going to let Casey Affleck get through this whole flipping movie without saying anything, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's really him. It's not like because at first like, is that no, but it's him.
It's like we were talking about the red balloon again. We were talking about the red balloon last week, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like you project so much emotion onto a turn of the head or a close-up. They're
going to let Rooney Mara eat a pie for 5 minutes, unbroken cut.
Although I think that was a little indulgent, but
yes, but I was impressed that he went, like, he was just like, I'm gonna just double.
That was another me skipping forward 10 seconds.
Oh no!
She's still eating the fucking pie. She's still eating the fucking pie.
He skipped forward 10 seconds like 18 times.
I'm still going. I'm still going. What the hell's happening here?
Like I was like, oh shit, Rooney Mara's leaving the movie 25 minutes in.
Wow.
Now what?
Yeah.
Like, and then he really kind of kept surprising me with where he was gonna, like, okay, I'm gonna subvert my expectations going into it were a little different.
Yeah.
And he kept subverting them. And yes, there's just tiny little moments with the two ghosts waving at each other from across the road,
which is funny. There's humor. There's humor in this
but also
movie.
like.
But what a thud! What a thud!
About
Come on.
2/3 of the way through this movie.
Oh, the thud is, I don't remember who I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
I
know it's.
I don't think they're coming.
At a certain
my
point,
God!
The melancholy kicked in hard, and this became profoundly sad, but not in a way that made me want to stop watching.
Yes,
it's a beautiful kind of sad.
A 10-minute scene. By the way, a 10-minute scene that's entirely in Spanish and is not subtitled is not something you get in a lot of American movies.
No,
and they're speaking very simple Spanish. It's not difficult if you know any Spanish at all to understand what they're saying.
Right.
But it's still not something that you get in American movies. You don't get non-subtitled foreign languages for extended periods of time.
It's like the only extended dialogue in the movie.
Oh, it's funny.
One exception.
Will Oldham.
The worst part of the movie, that fucking guy being the high dude at a party talking about time. I wanted to reach out and fucking
talk about realism.
The shit out of him.
I think the character is called a prognosticator.
I would have gotten up. I would have gotten up out of the chair and walked out of that party. I'd have been like, "Fuck this guy."
No,
ugly guy with the
going
pit
to see him
stains telling us here he is
I'm
to
going to see
explain
him
the
in
movie.
2.5 weeks. He's playing Gun Bun.
I don't know. I wish I was that guy. I thought he was very articulate and had a lot of.
Was that in fact David Lowery?
You are that guy.
I have been that guy at parties. I have been.
We've all been that guy. Don't lie. We're all that guy every week.
No, that's true. This whole show is being about that fucking guy.
That scene should have been cut.
That guy. I guess that guy's a musician. His name's Bonnie Prince
I
Billy.
like. Yeah, Bonnie Prince Billy.
I agreed to go see him before I knew what he did. Like he's playing Gun Bun in 2 weeks. I'm going just because I'm just desperate to see live music, and someone asked.
Wow.
And it's like, oh wait, same fucking guy.
That's
just walk
great.
up, Chris, just walk up to him and fucking slap him and say, "That's for the monologue."
Oh no, you gotta.
He's a good musician though. His fucking music's dope.
Did you read about what Kesha in that scene where they
I guess she's in the background.
Yeah, they was background. I think she was so impressed she flew the location and was actually an extra in that scene.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
If you want to go ahead.
The bit, okay, so then like the last third, it's like it sort of becomes about like the house getting knocked down, and then
what a nice surprise that was.
Dude, they go back to the fucking pioneer days, dude.
Well, but hold on, but first you have to get through the idea that maybe in the middle of Texas or wherever the hell this is, they decide to go plop Blade Runner on top of it 100 years from now.
That's not how urban sprawl works.
No,
you don't knock down a fucking ranch house like that and build 100-story skyscraper.
Yeah, that was
I think
the one time I was like, well, okay, fine.
Yeah, but watching it again, right?
It didn't last long.
Watching it again, though, I understood that the ghost is experiencing these parallels, right?
Yes.
And he's experiencing the future, the past, the present, all at the same time.
Right.
Or at least parallel to each other, right?
And I don't think so. I think it's a loop. I think it happens.
Because he goes back to, well, that's when it gets really interesting, is when he goes back to when he's alive and he arrives at the house with his wife.
He's double haunting himself. Yeah.
And then he sees himself. He sees the ghost at the end.
He's the piano.
But no, it's like I thought it was about a question of height, because the thing in the skyscrapers, he goes higher and higher until he's at the top of the building. Then he falls, and height is time.
Jump.
Future, the past. And he fell far into the earth, and he ended up in pioneer days. And I thought that was kind of part of what they're saying.
I noticed.
It's a visual metaphor. Like everything in this movie is a visual metaphor.
Also, I just want to mention how beautiful this film looks.
Oh my god!
Oh wow, it was great.
Even though it wasn't in 4:3 Academy, if only it was widescreen,
with the rounded
you could see more of it.
I love the round. I love the round.
None of you guys got rounded corners in your backgrounds.
No, well, that comes later, dude. It'll be fun. But I
never
never stopped noticing that there were rounded corners on this thing. That's unfortunate. I know why I kind of know why he did it, but for me, it was just like a. It was like
you fucking brought it up, and then I couldn't not see it when I was watching.
Well, yeah, okay.
I don't know if I would have. I mean, I would have noticed, but I don't know if it would have bothered me as much if you hadn't been fucking bitching about it.
No, I was bitching.
I noticed it immediately, but it didn't bother me, and after a while, I stopped noticing it.
No.
While I was noticing it, which is about the first third, was all the beautiful stuff just with them in the house and the light, which was so sort of ectochrome. Gorgeous, and the rounded corners just added to the feeling of I was looking at old photographs.
Yeah, it feels like looking at an old photo album.
For a while in the 70s, when you'd go order prints, you'd get rounded corners.
Yeah,
and you got your prints back
because the 70s were bad.
Without borders, yes. Because why?
Because the 70s were bad and people made bad decisions.
Awesome, because they were awesome.
We're covering this after the
70s gave us 10.
But I know
I was born in '83. No, they didn't.
I think that.
So that means your mom was.
My parents met in '80, so
I think the Lowery was trying to kind of have us feel timeless in terms of having an old silent era frame.
Well, there's absolutely there's no signage anywhere. There's no brand names. It's beautifully art directed in that respect, in that it's timeless. And the house
also this I am sure is CG.
Well, there's no city that looks like that.
No,
is there?
That's Sauron, dude.
I kept waiting for a building to blow up.
Y'all, welcome to Sauron City, Texas, where we got ourselves a Sauron building right downtown.
Texas.
Yeehaw!
I did San Francisco has, the.
Yeah, we did for a while. It was kind of cool, but we don't have that now.
I did like that the director said in an interview that it was really cathartic to watch them tear down the house after shooting in there during the summer.
Oh yeah, they got to use that house for free because it's going to be torn down.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That is a genuine jump scare, by the way, when the fucking bulldozer comes through.
Oh, for the ghost too.
Holy shit!
But it's like it's neat because
how do you jump scare a ghost with a backhoe?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're looking at this as a story about characters and motivation, this motivation you figure after a while is trying to figure all it is figuring out what that's on a slip of paper, and that's the only thing you realize at the end. That wasn't just motivation. That was a reason for it to exist.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a little scary.
It's like a real
Except he
ghost.
could have
haunting.
done
They
it on
have
his
the-
own because the fucking next door ghost disappears after he
Yeah.
decides to give it up.
Oh, that was
He
so
raptured
sad.
himself.
I don't think they're coming.
Yeah.
That was so sad when they were looking at each other after it's demolished and the ghost just goes down. My heart went, oh God,
It's
Uh-huh.
one of so many striking images in that movie.
Yeah.
I loved this movie so much. It
When
would have. I
ghosts
said it on
die.
Twitter. It said if I'd known about this in 2017, it absolutely would have made like my top 10 or top 5 list.
I just can't imagine. I can't imagine wearing. I can't
Jordan.
imagine wearing that getup that he had to wear with the hoops and
Yeah, he had like a
everything else
whole thing on.
under the sheet in the
Perfectly hot.
summer in Texas.
At least it's
Keep the
white.
sheet the right shape.
Oh,
Well, you know,
God.
yeah, he's
With like shooting lights around too.
Yeah, right.
he's a professional. He can do this.
He probably lost
The other
20
thing-
pounds of water weight during
Uh,
this.
It's all
Yeah,
just
we
beautifully done. The
saw
thing
his
is,
abs there.
how do you even like make that performance work? You know what I mean?
He did though.
It's like he
That's
did.
the
It's just
crazy
so well
thing.
done. And all the trying to manipulate things to the sheets and the hands and like that was just so.
Well,
the barrier between the living and the
The
metaphysical or
Affleck
whatever.
brothers don't have the best emotive acting in general. So maybe hiding the face and making him act with his body was a better
Well,
idea.
no, I think Casey is a top.
Wait, hold on though. Tad, you just
Irish from Boston, right?
why I was grateful that like okay, I get the central conceit, the two eyes, the sheet, but it also yes, it prevented us from a 90, an hour of his mopey face
Staring at people.
Admittedly.
forlorn, whatever. At the
his
life
independent,
he's
his
no longer
independent
part of.
filmmaking face.
Well, but just
Have you guys not seen the assassination of Jesse James?
I don't know. Listen, I love.
Yeah,
and I
his
love
one
that
good movie.
The only
I've
reason I
seen it.
picked this because it's 4 hours long. But
Manchester by the Sea. He's a tremendous
the
actor.
best actor in the world is going to spend the next 90 minutes of that movie like with the saddest, like just sad face.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
I would
Right.
prefer. I prefer to see the sheet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
Another-
crazy conceit, but it worked so well, and you just pointed out why.
It's my favorite part of this movie, honestly.
Well, you ever read
Oh,
that
when
book?
do you guys want to hear what it was like when he first sat up at Sundance?
Oh, do
like-
tell.
The fucking no, because we had never. This is the first time they're showing this film in public. Like
This was hidden. This whole movie was made in secret. It was hidden. It was sold before Sundance.
And nobody knew it was about a guy in a sheet with 2 holes cut in
no,
it?
we had no idea. No one knew what to expect at all. We're sitting in the audience.
You're there because of Ain't Nobody Saints.
No, well, my friend Aaron just gets like random tickets, like,
Got it.
and we just go to different
No,
screenings.
you were there because of Pete's Dragon.
No, he did that out, or he.
That was
No,
actually-
this was Pete's Dragon money.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, right.
So I had heard of Ain't This Body Saint.
Get your Disney money and fucking make your indie films.
Right on.
That's
Yes.
exactly right. That's exactly what he
Mhm.
does. But dude, because you know how long that shot is when she's in the morgue,
Oh yeah.
and when he sits up, dude, like at Sundance in the theater, it was a combination of gasps and laughter, like equal.
No, I'm
equal
sure.
parts.
Uh,
And I'll never forget it because it was even though it was so contradictory, happening at the same time, it was such an exciting vibe.
Yeah.
And people people were laughing. Some people were laughing because they were uncomfortable. Other people were genuinely scared, kind of like when the bulldozer comes through.
uh-huh.
Like we were like, that was fucking crazy. This whole thing is crazy. What the hell's going on? And then the next thing he's walking down the hallway of the hospital and we're like, oh shit.
Uh-huh.
We didn't
Well, and when you
know,
first,
you know, you're
when you
describing-
first see him walking, also there's an emergency exit sign in front of him, and he's red. The
yeah.
whole
yeah.
sheet is red, and it's like, what the fuck is this? And then he walks past the emergency exit sign, and you see it's a white hospital sheet
Yeah.
at that point in time, and it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I know what this is now.
Yeah,
Right.
this is his exit. If he
Yeah.
wants to go out of the mortal coil that he was living
Look at
in, this
this.
was his exit. He chooses not to go when it closes
Easiest
up.
effect of the
And
whole
he didn't
movie.
get a whole lot of time to make up his mind either, man. That door was like,
Look at all these shots. Every single shot is so beautiful.
Mhm.
Particularly, like I remember, when he's walking across the field going home.
yes.
Oh yeah,
Gorgeous.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
But no, you're talking about the wheels up moment for this film. It's
Yeah.
like
It does.
it's
It
like-
does, though. Also remind me of the Zoloft commercial with the little sad ball.
Oh,
remember
I
those?
love that commercial. That was a great series of commercials. You know what's remind me of shoot, what movie we
Put
watched?
a clip of that in this, by the
yeah.
way, so the young people know what the fuck
I've never seen
the sad Zoloft ball was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another thing I want to mention about this film, though, is the music in particular.
No, I'm sorry. Killing of a Sacred Deer. It's remind me a bit of that.
Yeah.
It kind of spare, but there's also kind of a high concept story going on in the background.
Daniel Hart.
Yeah.
The composer?
Yeah, so the composer, but also I believe it's the same guy, also wrote that song that Casey sings.
Yeah,
Casey's character sings.
That's him.
That's him.
Which
actually.
the ghost learned from the settler girl.
Yeah,
and
because he's the piano.
Yeah,
possibly. And I love well, first of all, I love that sequence of her listening to it, you know, when he was alive, and then her listening to it when he's dead. And also, that's just such a fucking amazing song.
And it's beautiful the way they cross cut.
Yes, the way
with the headphones on and the earbuds in.
Earbuds, yes, yeah. That whole thing was so, and I think that song was beautiful. I think this whole score is so amazing.
Also, you say there's no brands in this. Those were branded headphones, and you can see it on the.
Actually, they're the exact same ones.
Sony Professionals. I actually want to buy.
They're the same ones that I use. I have like 3 pairs.
Are those? I want to buy a pair. Are those pretty good? Are those pretty good?
Yeah.
They are the only ones I use for recording, dude.
Those you will find a version of those Sony headphones in every recording studio in the world. Those are the mid-range. You get the highs and the lows, but you get the mids too.
They have big diaphragms apparently.
They're really nice, and they're not that expensive. They're like $90 or
I know. I'm buying it right now. I've chosen
another thing where we need some Sony money for this episode.
I know we get some
Sony. I was so
cash.
impressed by the music in this, and I know I keep going back to.
I'll take a PlayStation 5, guys.
Okay, I'll work.
I know I keep going back to Sundance, and I apologize if that's boring, but so we're walking down this theater we were in. We saw this was upstairs, and we're walking down, and my friend and I are talking about the music, and Dan is his name Daniel.
Daniel Hart.
So Daniel, who I don't know from Adam, is walking right next to us, and he hears us talking about the music. And he goes, "Oh, hey, that's me."
Oh,
and I turned to him and I said, and he goes, "Oh," I said, "Oh, you're the score artist, you're the composer." And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Hey, did you do that song that Casey's character sings?" He goes, "Yeah, that's me too." And I said, I knew that wasn't Casey singing. He's all, "No, that's me singing." I was like, "There's no way."
But they're close enough that you could believe.
Yeah, no, for sure. I loved it. I love that.
He also from Boston.
He was super. He was so nice. He seemed immediately like the most down to earth, really nice guy. Talked to us for like 5 minutes. We were walking together.
Yeah,
well, here's a thought about.
Really was a direct hit for me. A lot of it sounds like Wing Victory for the Sullen.
Yeah.
Like
here's a thought about that song in terms of the context of the film. It's like the character, and it's a song he's working on. He wrote it, right? He's composing it, and that's his thing. And his widow basically listens to it in headphones. And a lot of the film, is about what you leave behind you when you die. That's the prognosticator talks about that at the squatter party, right? And it almost seems like when this fellow who wrote this song, his girlfriend, wife listens to it, and when she's done, it disappears from the universe forever. But when you come around to the pioneer days, there it is again. So that was interesting. It's like,
again, I think it was there originally, and the ghost heard it, and the ghost is the piano, and the piano taught him the song to compose it.
Weirdly enough, I might agree with you in that.
So it's not the Brave Little Toaster; it's the Brave Little Piano.
Oh, Brave Little Toaster is a great film.
This is the second or third Brave Little Toaster reference in the past few weeks,
right?
On a more like practical level, like I get the feeling because I'm a shitty musician, but I make music and I love it and I write all the time and I record all the time.
Oh, I'm a shitty musician too.
Hey, I'm a shitty bass player.
That's your shtick.
I'm a drummer. They're not really musicians.
Yeah.
Well, they're always shitty.
Yeah. But when I'm dating, when I'm dating women, sometimes if we're close, I will. If I'm dating someone and sometimes we're getting close or we have a real good relationship, I will show them my music like he showed her in the headphones, and I felt so much like during the present day, she was kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm into this. It wasn't until he's dead and she's got the earbuds that she's like, oh my God, I miss him and this is really good. I know I'm projecting, but I put that on personal because I've dated women where they're like, oh, like, yeah, this is okay. And then like we're not together. Or
now
like,
that you're dead, they love your music.
Yeah, like, well, like if we break up or something, they're like, I'm listening to your album.
Yeah, dead artists are better than living artists.
Yeah.
This is the Van Gogh effect, right?
It's the Ava Cassidy thing. Nobody knew who Ava Cassidy was, and then she died, and all of a sudden everyone's listening to her music.
Wait, David Cassidy?
Ava
David
Cassidy.
Cassidy
Oh, I
was
thought
a
you meant David
trans
No idea
woman.
who that is.
No, I know the
Oh, you should.
but
You should.
David
You
Cassidy.
should look up some Ava Cassidy. Her
All right, good
cover, of,
That's
her
the same
cover
thing
of Fields of Gold
that's
is
the same thing as one of my
amazing.
favorites, Nick Drake. Same thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So,
Nick Drake's famous dead musician.
Yeah, like he's brilliant. But
You're
But
thinking
yeah,
of
no, I
Jim
just feel like
Morrison.
people are like, it's like we take stuff for granted when we're in it.
We take stuff for granted. We take stuff for granted. We're alive. We live day to day, move along. We try to make a place in the universe that was going to endure. We all do this, whether we know it or not.
Yes,
And
but
this-
the heat death of the universe is coming.
Yeah,
Scott.
pretty much. And it's going to come to naught.
He's a proponent of the big crunch, and literally no one is a big crunch believer.
No,
so
I
like,
think that's
he's
the
the
big
last-
rip,
he's the
which I
last
think is going to
holdout.
happen. That's a big rip. That's the repulsive force is going to rip everything apart in about 40 billion years.
no, but he is the big crunch. He says it's all going to fall back
Okay,
together.
well, yeah,
it's
but
going
the
to come back
cosmology
in.
needs some updating in this.
It's all multiple consecutive universes.
You can't move to the other ones.
Multiverses. I did a play about multiverses.
Hey, fuck those universes. That's a gem line.
So
Fuck them
I would
universes.
just like to say, I really couldn't get into the movie for the first half because I just thought it was cheesy metaphysics, and I've never been one for like ghost.
It is
literal
cheesy
ghosts
metaphysics.
that
You're
are
not wrong.
serious. But then I started getting interesting when people started talking. The Spanish episode was like the high point because it's like, oh, I can try and listen to what they're talking about. Yeah, it's just
But also the portrayal of in the Spanish family sequence, the portrayal of sort of what you would call like an average predictable haunting from any other film. The way they portrayed that.
The glass when the glass is up in the air and then it cuts and he's holding the glass and then he throws it.
And when he starts really wrecking their kitchen, essentially, like I was like, what a great take on like how how other people see a haunting.
Right.
I was like, man, you're a dick.
Why was he?
He was kind of being a dick.
Why was he so mad? Why was he so mad?
Let Jim talk.
Let Jim talk.
So I had a feeling about the
He's
magic
halfway through his
row there. It's like, oh yeah, the Hispanic family comes in and the kids can see ghosts. So
Okay, so hold on.
throwing shit around.
Do you think the kids could see them? Was that
the young boy?
The boy does.
Okay. I couldn't tell if the movie was saying that he could see him or he just thought.
I don't think they're telling you either way. It's up to you.
It's ambiguous.
It's ambiguous, but the rest of the movie is so fucking concrete that I got the feeling that the kid could see him. So there's that.
Crazy question.
But anyway,
go ahead, take it.
Nicely shot. The whole thing, I liked how they, the sheets over ghosts originally was the shroud, the burial shroud. And since we don't bury people like that anymore, I thought it was cute the way they got that burial shroud on him by having him be in a morgue
we do that. We do cover people with sheets in hospitals and morgues. Like
that could be the shroud,
but they aren't buried in them.
But he doesn't get buried. He becomes a ghost before he gets buried.
Yeah, right.
There's another aspect to this film which is, I think, can easily go overlooked, but that is actually the effects. There are a lot of effects in this movie that are, both practical and probably a little bit of CG and other stuff, but they do certain things so seamlessly that we wouldn't even put together necessarily. And I'm talking about everything from, lighting to like, obviously something like Rooney Mara coming out of the bathroom 15 times, but not just that though. There's other like first of all, if you watch him stand up or sit up in the sheet, the scene we were just talking about, like the sheet's not long enough for that to make sense. I don't know how they did that. Because the sheet isn't going down to like, if he would have stood up or sat up in real life, you would see his back.
Fall off his head.
Yeah.
They probably actually weighted the sheet
or something. Yeah.
So when he sits up,
I'm not saying it's like
the sheet
Yeah.
stays in place, and he moves underneath it and then peeks.
I love
the
this
movie-
movie.
I love it.
This was a bad movie.
If
He said
there
he didn't believe in bad movies, and I said I
If this,
believe in bad
if
movies.
this film was a,
Oh,
is
they
going to be-
definitely exist.
this film is going to explore the idea about what ghosts are and how they work and what the motivations are. This is about as thorough and direct as you could ask.
No, it's,
But also the other things you said at the beginning, Scott, like it explores time, it explores like space. It explores,
you're
like,
both
Jim, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
You put up
come
against
on,
that.
Chris, put up the sign. Everybody's wrong.
Put this up against that movie.
Everybody's
What was it?
Chris, do you have one that says everyone is wrong?
What was that one? What was that one with Patrick Swayze?
Ghost.
Thank you.
Ghost.
That film was fucking stupid. Come on.
That's what I thought this movie was.
But that film is fucking stupid.
I don't know. This movie would have been better with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway,
You forgot the nah.
oh, it's
But I
Mizo
feel like-
time. Anyway, just can't. I guess I'm gonna watch this one again probably next week. It was so
Oh
good.
God, why would you?
Oh no,
I
no,
probably
no.
so I
What's
probably
wrong with it?
won't. I
No,
probably
no,
won't watch this.
No, on the
again.
spiritual level, on the filmmaking level, on what the storytelling level, I was satisfied at every level of this film.
Me too. I think it's an
Yeah,
A plus.
me too.
This
On
is
the
an
scientific-
A plus.
Okay. All right, good.